Raecene McGregor, thank you for joining me on NRL Fans WA.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries. You're at the World Cup at the moment representing the New Zealand Ferns. Well done. Congratulations on your first win the other day. How's the World Cup preparations going for the rest of the tournament?
Oh, thank you for that. It's been really good. It's been awesome. It's been a really awesome experience being here. Actually, my first time over here, so didn't know what to expect. But yeah, it's pretty cold. We've been prepping pretty well. Obviously, we knew it was going to be cold here, but can't change that. So yeah, really looking forward to the next game against Cook Islands tomorrow.
Oh, nice. That's the way. It'll be. It's a little bit colder than New Zealand. I've lived in New Zealand, so I know how cold it is.
It's freezing. It is freezing. Freezing is an understatement. At night time, the wind and the rain, you have no idea. I've never played in anything like it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well. I know the tournament night is going really good at the moment for the viewership and stuff like that, especially going on the back of the men's ones where they're coming to the end. You're just starting, so and it's really great to see the Nrlw as well, heavily represented over there. How have you felt with your Nrlw girls representing all the different nations that are over there?
Yeah, it's been really awesome to see so many, Nrlw players get picked up by all different teams. It's awesome for us to see so many of our Roosters girls get picked up as well, especially for the Kiwi Ferns. There's 3 of us here, so yeah, it was really exciting to hear those girls' names come out when team list came out.
Oh, that's awesome. I also wanted to say congratulations on the Daily M Player of the Year as well. That's a huge achievement.
Thanks.
Being the best player in the competition. You went up against previous winner of Millie Boyle. I can't remember the other lady that shared it with her at the moment. Off the top of my head, I forgot.
Oh yeah, that's right, Emma. That's all right.
That's right. Yeah,
they both went really well last year.
Yeah, and you got Ali Brigginshaw from Brisbane, who's always up and around those areas, with the experience. So must have done a hell of a job. And I did watch a lot of the games this year, so I know that you did do a great job and steered that Roosters team around really well.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, it was a little bit of a shock to me when I got that award, but yeah, just really grateful to win it, especially, having so many good players in line for that award.
Yeah, definitely. We'll jump into a bit of your career. Just what I've been able to research, obviously it doesn't go right back to where you started, but you played, started in 2018 in NRLW with St George, played a couple of games there, you move on to Brisbane, and then this season you moved on to the Roosters. How have you found the difference between all 3 clubs?
Yeah, they've actually all been quite different. Dragons, I did enjoy my time there, but it was the first season, so I think it was just the club finding, how to, have a women's team in the game, in the space as well. So yeah, they're a really good club and I really enjoyed my time there, but, I think that they have definitely worked hard to get to where they are from where we were. So yeah, no, they've done great. And yeah, going to the Broncos, yeah, they're definitely an awesome club, moving from the Dragons, going there. They've got really good facilities. Obviously, they came off the back of a win, so they had the right things in place, and I think they just had really good staff there, and great facilities, and they were really for the women's game there. Like every time after a captain's run, we'd be having barbecues. The staff would come down and cook a barbecue and really get amongst the girls. So it was really awesome from that aspect, that side of that to see that side. Really having that support behind us, and I think that's really what drove the girls to do well for the club, because what the club really did for us. And then, unfortunately, left the Broncos. Not something that I did want to do, but injury happened. And then, moved on to the Roosters, which I was fortunate enough to get picked up there late. So really grateful to the Roosters and to the staff there for giving me the opportunity to, play another season. And, still there today. And, really enjoyed my time there. Loved the staff and just really enjoyed the girls and great group of people. But, yeah.
Yeah. How did you find having the 2 seasons in 1 year this year with the 2021 and 2022 season?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, coming from 2022, the 2021 into then like our Harvey Norman comp, and then pretty much straight into the 2022. Yeah, it was a really long season. I think it was tough on a lot of girls' bodies. It's a long season, probably not something that we're quite used to just yet. We're only part time, so I definitely think I'm glad that hopefully COVID settle down a bit and we can get back to, having our competition properly set in year to year.
Yeah, definitely. I I think on a personal point of view, I think it might have helped the viewership with the NRLW being the 2 seasons in one, being a bit longer during the year, because I was speaking to a lot of people. I was speaking to Mark Guy the other day, and like we love the women's game. It's so raw. The way you play the game, it's almost like a flashback to the 80s and 90s where there was no wrestle in the game, no BS. It was just play footy, play hard, and that's a lot of people that I talk to. They love watching the women's game because of that sort of stuff. And it's great to see, and especially like I said, having the 2 seasons in 1 year. I think the viewership just would have skyrocketed through that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that side of things. It definitely helped the women's game, I believe, and it's great to see that more people are watching our game, because that's what we need. The more people that watch it, the more money that comes in, the more the more teams we can bring in, the more games we get to play, and the more you guys get to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Have you found with Paige playing for the Dragons this year? Your younger sister playing for the Dragons club that you started at, and you coming up against her. I watched the little battles that you had during the year. So, how did you find that?
Yeah, no, it's not ideal. I mean, I do wish that we could play together, and hopefully that's something that we can look at, in the following years. But yeah, it's always a challenge playing against her. Just kind of got to look at her as another player out there. Otherwise, it's quite hard, when you see your sister on the other side, because we are quite close, and I do, respect her a lot, and I love her. So it's quite tough. But when you're out there, I guess you play for the jersey that you're wearing.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Well, you got the Sherrington sisters. They both play for Parramatta, so they're on the same page as you. But it's having the sisters in the same team would be a dream for you guys to play in the same team. So hopefully one day definitely. You can both play club. Yeah,
100%.
So you've played a few games for New Zealand already, coming into the World Cup, and you played for the Māori All Stars in the round at the start of the year. How did you find playing in the Māori All Stars with some of the obviously the Māoris and against the Indigenous team as well?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love playing that game. It's definitely, one of my favourite games to get to play during the year. It's awesome because, I get to play with some girls that, I probably would have never got to play with before, because, we are the same heritage, but we play for different countries. So it's really cool, that side of things. Yeah, we didn't have a very successful game this year, but that's okay. We'll be working hard to, come up against the Indigenous team next year. Really awesome to have it back home too in New Zealand.
Yeah, right. That's the thing to look forward to. Back in back home in Aotearoa, in front of the people.
It'll be awesome it'll be awesome for the Indigenous girls to see our side of things and how we do it, especially being hosted here for the last few years and seeing how beautiful their land is and how their people do things. So it'll be awesome for them to come back and see how we do it.
Yeah, definitely. When you were a kid, who was your inspiration? Who was your role model that you looked up to and tried to idolize your life on?
Definitely my mum. She's someone that I really looked up to, someone that really had my back, and someone that I really, looked up to. Just, she has really good values and very family values, and I think, that's what I have too. But, in a football sense, Billy Slater, he was always my idol growing up. I loved him as a player, and I loved the Melbourne Storm. They were such a great team, and he was just such a great player. So yeah, definitely him.
Yep. Was he the reason that you sort of started playing rugby league, or was it someone in the family?
Yeah,
he got into league.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, he definitely is the reason why I started to play league. I played a lot of sports growing up, and I didn't get to play too much rugby league, just being a girl and not having those pathways there at my age. But I did get to play a little bit at school, and I really enjoyed it. So I knew once I had hit 17, it's something that I wanted to pursue, and I'm glad I did, because here I am now.
Exactly. You get to represent your culture, your family, your country. Yeah. So yeah. How have you liked the direction of the NRLW? Introducing a couple of teams at a time. Being a smaller comp to start with, and introducing a few teams compared to, I guess, the AFLW, where they're at the point now where they've got every single team from the AFL's got an AFLW team. How have you liked that direction?
Yeah, for me personally, I think it was a clever move to work it slowly. Just not to put anything down on the AFLW, but where they are now, I think there's a couple of blowout games there, and I guess it's probably not as interesting to watch. So I think it was smart to take it slow, move it slow, because I know fans probably think, oh, we want more teams, but they probably don't realize if we bring that many teams in and then the scores are 60-0, then people aren't going to watch. They're not going to want to watch games like that. So I think it's still quite competitive right now, and we're getting more teams in. There's another 4 teams coming in next year, and I think we'll slowly keep building it up, and we'll keep the quality there, and it will keep people really interested. So I think
definitely.
it was the right way to go.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it started off with Brisbane winning a couple of the premierships, but then each year after that, it's different teams in the grand final, different teams winning the grand final, and it's made it more interesting for the supporters of each of these clubs to actually support a team, because their NRL team might not be doing so well, like the Knights, for example, but they would go ahead and win the grand final this year in the NRLW. So, I think it's a brilliant move by the NRL to do that. Just want to get your advice on clubs Australia-wide, I guess, even in New Zealand, trying to get young girls into rugby league, and also to dealing with, I guess, the parents that are, having that closed-minded thoughts of girls shouldn't be playing this sort of sport. How do you think we should try to combat that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think that's really hard, especially coming from maybe an Islander family point of view, tough dad, daughters probably not wanting them to play, which is fair enough. I understand completely. It is a tough sport, and it's not for everyone. But I think it is such a beautiful game, and I've made so many wonderful friendships from so many different teams, and I carry that very close to my heart. So I think it's just such a good social aspect to start off with. It doesn't have to be for you. It's just something that I think lots of girls should just give a go. It's a really great way to make friends. Like I said, I've made really awesome friends in this game, and it's growing so quickly now, and I think it's awesome to see. And I think young girls watching now, like, we're the role models, and really girls look up to us, and I think that's what they want to be. And I think they don't look at the tough, hard contact side of it so much these days. It's more like, wow, I want to be like her. And I think it's just really awesome to see little girls looking up to us like that. And I think young girls, they can be persuasive to their parents, and I think a lot of girls these days can get their way. So as long as you're being good, doing the right things, and enjoying things, I think you'll get there.
Yeah, I know how it feels, because I've got a couple of daughters, and yeah, they can be very persuasive, very persuasive. I mean, I've got 10 kids that live in the household, so
Far out, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've got a multi-family, so yeah, it's fair bit of kids. And we're trying to get my youngest daughter into playing league, but she's too much of a princess at times.
Yeah.
And the next minute she wants to jump in with the boys and tackle, and I'm like, oh, make your mind up, girl. So I find it very hard, but yeah.
Yeah, no, of course it can be frustrating, but when they're young like that, you just got to let them kind of find their own feet, and eventually they'll make their mind up.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Have you got any advice for young women, young girls that want to get to the highest level that you've achieved at the moment, like your routines, all that sort of stuff? Have you got any advice for these girls that like I said, want to get to that routine?
Yeah, just get to training early, get your extras in, do the little things right, practice things. It sometimes only takes one other person. You got a brother or a sister or a friend, take them down to the park early, or your dad or your mum, whoever it is. Practice the little things. I think people forget how important, playing the ball is, and catch passing is, and anything, just little things like that, running into contact, finding your front. You practice those little things before training, and then you slowly keep doing that. You'll get better and better, and you'll realize when you start playing, like, wow, didn't realize how important those things were. So it's just the little things, the extras, before training, after training, any spare time that you have, get down to the field, do your running, get your fitness up, like it's important. So I know it's not, ideal. No one wants to run, but it's really important when you're playing. So, get the little things right.
Yeah, absolutely. I coached 2 teams this year at my local club, and the amount of, we had a few girls in our team, and they were some of the best players I've had. They threw their bodies at it, at the tackles, at the ball. They never gave up, and they outworked a lot of the boys all the time. And I loved coaching them. One of them even won my coaches award because she was just so hard at playing. She never gave up. So that's perfect advice for these young girls. But it's also for young kids, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
To get out there and just practice all the simple stuff too. On a personal note, have you, with mental health issues being a big problem these days in the world, have you gone through like a low point in your life? And if so, how did you get through it?
I guess I can say that I did. When I did injure my shoulder, I knew that I was going to miss out on the 2021 Nrlw season. But lucky for COVID that I didn't. But it was a time where I thought I wasn't going to play, so it was pretty hard for me to come to terms with missing out, being in there for the last couple of years, and then all of a sudden not having a team. It was quite hard. It was something that I couldn't understand why, and just for me, I was very lucky. I have a very supportive family, and they got me through it. And lucky enough for COVID that that kind of built my spirits back up. Knowing that COVID came, and then hearing that the competition had got moved to the following year, just gave me another opportunity to work harder in that next year to get my shoulder right and to get back and to hopefully pick up a contract. And it wasn't until very last minute that I did, but it was a tough time to just come to terms with being at that level, and then not being there is just something that I guess it was very hard to come to terms with and understand why I wasn't getting picked up, even though my shoulder was better. So just lucky to have a really great family and really good support system.
Yeah, cool. No, that's awesome. Just changing a bit of subject, sorry. Back to your Daily M award, because I was watching it on Fox, and I noticed you got to be embarrassed when you won your award and your mum was yelling out from the background. How did you sort of deal with that, being up on stage and having your mum yelling?
Nah, yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, she caught me a little bit off guard there. I didn't know what to do, but she's just very proud, and I'm glad that she is proud of me. I was glad that she could be there. I was lucky enough to have my sister nominated, so she brought mum along, and to be up there and win it in front of them too. Yeah, couldn't ask for any better people to be there.
No, that's the way. Have you got a message for the young girls over here in Perth? Aspiring to be, an NRLW player or international rugby league player?
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep training, keep working hard. Opportunities will come. I know it's tough, being in Perth and not having too many pathways there, but the game is growing, and I definitely think eventually they will have to get a side over there. So just keep doing the little things right, keep working hard, keep training, and big things will happen.
That's the way. Speaking of the Perth team, I don't know if you follow any of the news with that sort of stuff with the men's side of things, but do you think that with the 18th team coming in, that Perth would be in the conversation?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a great idea to have. I mean, they've got plenty of players down there that are playing. So I don't see why not take one down there, especially since the women's game is growing. Also, take a men's team down there, take a women's team down there, grow it down there. Get some local talent. I'm sure there's people that would be happy to move back to Perth and play for whatever team they have there. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, well, I know there's three women playing in the World Cup from Perth. One of them's in your team, Shanice Parker.
Yeah, Scucky. Yeah, Shanice. Yeah.
You got Kennedy Sherrington and Anika Stevens. From Cook Islands.
Yeah, at the Dragons.
So they're all from Perth. So it's a bit of a good call for the young girls, looking up and seeing these three women playing in the World Cup at the moment. that's all I've got for you at the moment.
Yeah,
Raecene,
also
I
good.
really appreciate you giving me your time. I know it's early in the
No
morning, and then you've
problem.
got training and
That's
everything
okay.
else. Yeah. Any last words for the fans out here in Perth?
Yeah, just thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Raecene McGregor, thank you for joining me on NRL Fans WA. Much appreciate your time. And if you're ever in Perth, let me know and we'll catch up for a coffee or something.
Yeah, definitely sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No
Bye.
worries. Bye.